Amazing turn of events. Wife reveals life-changing surprise that exposed her hidden strength. In the heart of Maplewood, whispers of Sarah's life-changing surprise swirled like autumn leaves in the brisk air. She was a beacon of strength, a 36-year-old mother working tirelessly in her late parents' grocery store while tackling the weight of supporting her husband, Tom, a once proud veteran now lost in the shadows of PTSD. As dusk settled over the small diner where neighbors gathered for warmth and familiarity, Sarah's sweet smile became an anchor in their tempestuous seas of worry and waning dreams. Every evening as Sarah swept the old wooden floor of her family's store, the familiar creaking of the boards echoed her exhaustion, yet she pressed on, driven by love and a fierce longing for more. Bills piled up like autumn leaves, crushed remnants of dreams seemingly fading away. But as she climbed the rickety stairs to explore the dusty attic she'd avoided for years, something stirred within her, a yearning for her past ambition as a writer. Hidden beneath cobwebs and forgotten boxes, she uncovered letters penned by her grandmother during the tumultuous Great Depression. Each fading word wove a rich tapestry of struggle and hope, mirroring her current life in ways she couldn't ignore. With trembling hands, she felt the flicker of inspiration spark to life. The letters sparked a fire within her, igniting a brave decision to submit a piece to a local writing contest. It was her moment, her voice the tale of resilience, etched with the heartbeat of her community, filled with stories of unwavering love and shared dreams. Yet, air thickened around her as Tom confronted her fears. "What's next, Sarah? Will you forget about us like so many others do when they chase dreams?" His voice trembled with anguish, but the weight of her ambitions became a battleground of misunderstandings. With uncertainty suffocating their once happy home, the love that bound them threatened to fray. And as the day of the public reading dawned, Sarah felt a tumult inside her. Standing on that unfamiliar stage, she clutched her peace like a lifeline. She was terrified yet exhilarated, her grandmother's spirit coursing through her veins. Each word she spoke resonated with those listening faces lit by hope, sorrow, pride, and curiosity pulsed through the crowd. But then she caught Tom's eyes in the back. They mirrored her doubts, laced with conflicting emotions. Pride seeped in through the cracks of his fear, igniting her resolve but wrapping a chill around her heart. Amidst enthusiastic applause, a haunting silence lingered, suggesting the burden of dreams weighed heavier than expected. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As Sarah's voice quaked, resonating with the collective heartbeat of her town, she sensed something shift. Her words weren't just her own, they were a lifeline for all those quietly battling their demons. The questioning gaze of Tom tore deeper into her, forcing her to confront her dreams and the risks they carried. Could she forge her path without sacrificing her family's bond? Would they rise together or fracture under the pressure of newfound aspirations? In that moment of clarity on stage, as the applause washed over her like a warm embrace, Sarah realized they stood at the edge of a transformation, one that could chart their course either towards unity or disarray. The crowd buzzed with tears of shared experience, while the air rippled with uncertainty. Could dreams be reconciled with love, or were they destined to drift apart? As Sarah stepped off the stage, her heart pounded like a drum, the echo of applause still vibrant in her ears. Even as the excitement wrapped around her like a warm blanket, doubts crept in. The celebration felt hollow when faced with Tom's shadowy gaze. She saw him standing there, a whirlwind of confusion and fear, and she realized that her brave leap in pursuit of happiness had cast a long shadow over their relationship. "Sarah," he called, breaking through the chatter of the crowd. His voice was thick with emotion, each syllable a plea. She turned slowly, hoping to see pride in his eyes, but it was the turmoil that gripped her heart. "Let us talk," he insisted, stepping closer. She nodded, feeling the weight of the moment settle heavily between them. They needed to confront the silence that had taken root. Stepping out of the diner into the cool night air, the cold wrapped around them like a protective cocoon. The stars blinked overhead, unaware of the struggle unfolding below. "Why didn't you tell me you were planning this?" Tom's voice, though soft, held an edge that cut. I feel like I don't even know who you are anymore. A lump formed in Sarah's throat. I thought you would understand. I thought this was something that could bring us closer. But it feels like you're chasing something I can't be a part of, he said, each word weighted with pain. Sarah's chest tightened. You are a part of this, Tom. You always will be. But I need to find my voice again. It's been buried too long. Tom crossed his arms, a defensive barrier against the world. And if you find it, what happens to us? What if this writing thing changes you? What if... The words trailed off, leaving an unsettling silence between them. What if it helps me grow? What if it helps us? You know, life can't just be about survival. We deserve more than that. His expression shifted, flickering with a mixture of hope and fear. I'm scared, Sarah. Scared of losing you. What if this brings back memories I can't handle alone? What if you can't handle me? Her heart ached at his vulnerability. Tom, I'm here. I can't pretend everything is fine, but please know I'm not going anywhere. We can face this together. He took a deep breath, letting the chill of the night fill his lungs. As he searched her eyes, Sarah felt a glimmer of connection return, pushing through the fear that had grown between them. She stepped closer, reaching for his hand. Let us start small, okay? One step at a time, like a story unfolding, Sarah suggested, her voice steady, laced with determination. I'll share my pieces with you before anyone else. You can be my first audience, my sounding board. I want you to be part of this journey. Tom looked down at their joined hands, his expression softening. It's just hard for me. I'm not there yet. I know, she whispered, squeezing his hand. And it's okay. We'll figure it out together. The tension began to ease, but unease still lingered like fog. They turned back towards the diner, where the festivities carried on. The laughter and chatter felt distant, but one heartening thing was clear: they were still standing together. As they re-entered, the warmth of the diner wrapped around them, but uncertainty lingered in Sarah's heart. Was her choice really a shared dream or a solitary path shrouded in the tension of unspoken fears? Little did they know the challenges ahead would test not just their love, but the true depth of their individual strength. The question loomed. As they ventured deeper into their dreams, could they nurture the roots of their bond in the face of all that awaited them? The clatter of dishes and the hum of conversation faded as Sarah and Tom slipped back into the diner. With every step, Sarah felt the weight of multiple eyes upon them. Some friends beamed, perhaps still buzzing from her performance, while others glanced curiously, a mix of wonder and concern painting their faces. Should we grab a booth? Sarah suggested, breaking the silence. She needed a moment to gather her thoughts, to understand if the bond they had just rekindled could withstand the tests lurking on the horizon. Yeah, let us do that, Tom replied, his voice barely above a whisper. The energy around them felt almost suffocating as they moved toward the dimly lit corner booth. As they sunk into the vinyl seats, Sarah felt a mix of anxiety and hope. I'm glad we talked. I really am, she said, summoning a smile. I never want to lose touch with you, Tom. He nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. Just promise me one thing: when things get tough, we talk. No shutting down. Okay. I promise, she replied, and meant it. Honesty was a new foundation for them, one they desperately needed to solidify. Their conversation ebbed and flowed over coffee and pie. They shared tiny pieces of their days, the little things that wove their lives together. But as Sarah stirred her coffee, the weight of the bigger issues loomed. Would she still be able to weave her writing into their lives without losing everything? Do you think I can really do this? She suddenly asked, vulnerability rich in her voice. Writing? Sharing my stories? It feels big, like jumping off a cliff. Tom looked at her, his gaze steady. You have a gift, Sarah. You have to trust that. And I want to support you even if it scares me. His sincerity struck a chord. She could feel the warmth of determination washing over her. I want to share something with you, something I wrote. It's in its raw form, but I think it's important. Tom leaned in, curiosity replacing his earlier uncertainty. You think I'm ready for that? Sarah hesitated. I need to be honest with you, Tom. Not just with words, but with my heart. She took a deep breath. This story is about me, about us. It's hard for me to dig deep, but I need you to understand where I've been and where I want to go. His eyes softened, the tension returning, but in a different form, this one tinged with understanding. I'm all in, Sarah. Show it to me. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed on the table, breaking the moment. She looked down, seeing a message from her writing group. The words brought her both hope and dread. We can't wait to see your work. What are you holding back? Share your story. Tom, what if they don't get it? What if sharing my truth is too much for others to bear? Then it's too much for those who don't understand. But think of the others, the ones you'll touch with your story. You can't hold back your light. His words hung in the air, challenging and hopeful all at once. Sarah felt the gears turning within her, the courage to take that leap creeping in. The diner buzzed around them, but for Sarah time slowed. A new decision loomed, tethered to her need for growth and her commitment to them both. Okay, I'll do it. I'll share. But it's terrifying. Tom smiled, a glint of admiration in his eyes. Being brave is scary. But you're not alone in this, remember? I'm here. They shared a moment, knowing something needed to change. As the stakes grew, so did their intertwined paths. The question echoed in Sarah's mind. What would happen when her story met the world? Could she truly find strength in sharing every messy part of it, even if it meant confronting her deepest fears? That night, under the stars and surrounded by their friends, a ripple of dynamism began to take shape. Little did they expect that bold decisions often attract unexpected consequences, and those might finally show both of them who they really are. The diner's neon lights flickered like stars, casting a warm glow over Sarah's table. The crowd around them began to blur, their laughter and chatter fading into a hum as she focused on Tom. There he sat, absolute trust in his eyes, eager anticipation etched into his features. Okay, she whispered, drawing even with her emotions. Here goes nothing. The words spilled out like a flood. I've always struggled with self-doubt. The pressure to be perfect, it's like this giant weight that follows me everywhere. She offered a small, shaky breath, aching to find the right words. In the last few months, I thought I'd lost my voice completely, but I realized I still had stories to tell. They just needed a little more digging. Tom nodded, silent encouragement radiating from him. She continued, her heart racing. The truth is, I feel exposed when I write. It's like standing naked in front of everyone. I'm terrified they won't understand what I'm trying to say, or that they'll judge me for it. His hand reached across the table, covering hers. It was warm, reassuring, a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. They might not get it at first, but those who matter will see your truth. Your vulnerability is strength, Sarah. You speak for those who can't. She could feel the gravity of his words, the possibility blooming within her. I know I need to embrace that. I just don't want to lose what we have in the process. His gaze didn't waver. You won't lose me, but you need to trust in your journey. Show me the story, even the parts that scare you the most. She squeezed his hand and took one last deep breath. Okay. Here it goes. As she spoke, her heart poured out. The struggles with anxiety, the joy of writing, the fear of rejection. Each word weaved into a fabric of her truth, revealing not just her fears but also her dreams. With every line she felt lighter. Tom listened intently, his eyes flickering with understanding and admiration, urging her to delve deeper. I want to capture the beautiful messiness of life, she explained. Those moments when we feel lost, but then find pieces of ourselves we didn't know were missing. The brokenness and the light, it's all part of the same journey. Exactly, Tom said, a soft smile. You're pulling us into your world. That's powerful. She paused, searching his face. But what if sharing these stories puts us both on the line? What if it brings us pain? There's always a risk, he replied, his voice calm. But there's also growth. And that's how we discover who we are. Together we can face whatever comes. Feeling the assurance in his warmth, confidence began to surge within her. You're right. It's just if I'm going to lay myself bare, I want to do it authentically. I want to write for those who feel alone just like I did. That's where your strength lies. Just let it flow, Tom encouraged, his admiration steadfast. At that moment, Sarah understood she wasn't just stepping into the light for herself. She was doing it for others who may one day relate to her story. It ignited something within her, a flicker of hope. As the night rolled on and more friends drifted into the diner, Sarah's heart felt full. But in the back of her mind, seeds of doubt still whispered. What if revealing her story altered the threads of their relationship in ways she couldn't anticipate? Sarah looked at Tom and saw the unwavering support in his eyes. She breathed deep again, determination stirring. Maybe she was ready after all. But just as the sweetness of the moment settled, a rush of messages came through on her phone, disrupting the fragile peace. The vibrant energy shifted as her group chat burst with excitement, but it was so much more than that. The topic that flashed across the screen sent her pulse racing. "We need to discuss what we found about you." Suddenly, the fear caught in her chest felt physical, a weight that pressed down hard, threatening to sink her. What could they mean? She murmured aloud, heart pounding. Tom leaned closer, eyes narrowing in concern. What did they find? The world outside faded again, leaving only the urgency of that message and the uncharted territory ahead. What lay beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? This question echoed in her mind, propelling her forward into the unknown. Sarah felt the warmth of Tom's hand slip away as her phone glowed brighter with each new message. She couldn't look away from the screen, dread coiling in her stomach. The colorful emojis and animated gifs of excitement that filled the chat were starkly at odds with her own spiraling anxiety. What could they have found? She whispered again, more to herself than to Tom, her eyes darting across the screen. "The group chat, what's going on?" Tom pressed, his voice low but urgent. With shaky fingers, Sarah scrolled through the frenzy of messages, searching for clarification. "It's just a lot of emojis, but they're hyped," she replied, masking her unease with false nonchalance. Behind her mask of calm, she felt the familiar edges of panic tightening her chest. What if they uncovered something she had buried deep, a piece of herself she hadn't shared yet, not even with Tom? The very thought made her breath hitch. "I'll look," Tom said gently, reaching for her phone. Sarah instinctively pulled it closer to her, an involuntary reaction against the yearning to keep everything private. "Wait, no. I can't," she shook her head. But deep down, she knew Tom's understanding would only give her some comfort. "Sarah, whatever it is, let me help you." His eyes held hers, unflinching, steady, as they navigated this moment together. With a guarded breath, she scrolled back. Then she found it, a message from Jenna, her best friend. The words shimmered before her, both exciting and terrifying. "We found a thread about you in a writing forum. They're talking about your stories, and it's not just the ones you shared at the diner." A wave of emotions crashed over her. Shock, fear, intrigue. I didn't think anyone would what?" Tom pushed gently, his focus unwavering. She bit her lip, struggling to find the right words. "Open up and discuss my personal stuff like that. Feels overwhelming." "Overwhelming can be good too," Tom reminded her, the corners of his mouth lifting into a reassuring smile. "Maybe, but they're talking about things I've never shared publicly, things about me," she pressed. The idea of those words, raw and unrefined, being dissected by strangers made her heart race. Tom squeezed her hand again. "What's written can hold its power, but the impact you've had on people through your words, that matters more. Do you see that?" She nodded slowly, processing his encouragement. Maybe it was time to step back from the fear and embrace the unknown. But what if they don't understand? Then you show them. You're writing for yourself and others who need to hear it, he reminded her, unwavering in his support. "Could be an opportunity." Sarah looked at him, a chasm of uncertainty and hope opening within her. A new thought began to thread its way through her mind, bringing with it the faintest glimmer of light. If her words had sparked discussions among strangers, could that mean she was already making a difference? "Do you really think so?" she asked, the tremble returning to her voice. "I know so." Tom's confidence shook the remnants of doubt from her mind as she envisioned her words taking flight. But in the recesses of her heart, another worry loomed. What if unraveling this newfound courage meant exposing flaws that might alter their lives irrevocably? Amidst the clinking of dishes and murmurs of laughter from nearby tables, Sarah sensed the weight of something monumental hidden between her fears and desires. The truth was waiting, and it stirred deep within. Just as she began to grasp the possibility of embracing her voice, another message pinged. This one was from an unknown number, ringing with a surge of urgency that made her pulse quicken. "I've reached out to tell you about something important," it read, "and you deserve to know." "What now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, staring at the screen. Tom leaned in, brow furrowed. "What does it say?" I don't know." Each word felt like a looming shadow, threatening to shatter the flicker of hope she had just started to cultivate. What secret lay behind that message, waiting to be revealed? And Perhaps intertwined with her journey ahead? Sarah couldn't shake the sensation that she was standing atop the edge of a precipice, peering into the unknown. And just like that, she realized the adventure was only beginning. Could she be brave enough to take that leap? Sarah felt the weight of the unknown pressing down harder with each passing second. The message's implications spiraled in her mind. Who was this person? What did they know? A rush of questions flooded her thoughts. Should I respond? She asked Tom, her voice trembling. Yeah, but be careful. You don't want to give too much away until you know who you're dealing with, he replied, tension edging his voice. His grip on her hand tightened, a reassuring anchor amidst the storm of thoughts swirling in her head. Taking a deep breath, she opened the message again, heart pounding. What do you want to tell me? She typed, hitting send before her courage could slip away. The seconds dragged on, each tick of the clock echoing in her ears. It's taking too long, she muttered, glancing nervously at Tom. He nodded, his eyes filled with encouragement but also a flicker of concern. Then her phone buzzed. She read the response out loud. We need to talk about a story you wrote. It's more important than you know. What do they mean? Tom whispered, his forehead creasing with worry. Sarah grasped for answers, but all that filled her mind were flashes of her stories, a collection of hidden truths woven into characters and plots, each echoing pieces of her own life. Had someone unearthed something? Listen, I'm here. Whatever happens next, I'll be with you, Tom offered softly, his presence a calming balm against her fraying nerves. But an unsettling thought crept in. What if the stories, the things she had concealed under layers of creativity, held more power than she realized? Before she could spiral deeper, her phone buzzed again. We know about your struggles. We see your pain and strength. You have a voice that needs to be heard. Her heart raced. Strength? Pain? What could they possibly know? Goosebumps rose on her arms. She felt exposed, like a character stripped of her armor, laid bare for the world to scrutinize. Should I just block them? She suggested, feeling a surge of panic. But deep down, part of her was drawn into the mystery. Tom shook his head. You can't run away from this, Sarah. You're already in it. It might be terrifying, but it might also be liberating. His eyes sparkled with unwavering faith, forcing her to reconsider. Another message chimed in, bringing with it that same sense of urgency. You have something special that can help a lot of others. Don't let fear hold you back. What if they're just looking for drama? What if Stop, Tom interrupted gently. Think about what you wanted when you started writing. Wasn't it to connect? To share your truth? Now it's almost like an invitation to embrace that. His words hung in the air. For the first time since the chaos started, Sarah felt a flickering ember of hope. Could she really share her truth? Could it turn the tide? With trembling fingers she typed back. Tell me more. I'm listening. As she pressed send, a wave of vulnerability crashed over her. But at that moment, she recognized a shift, an opening. A chance to confront the shadows and emerge stronger. Suddenly, Tom's phone rang, interrupting the moment. He frowned at the screen, glancing at her. It's Jenna. Answer it, Sarah urged, needing a friendly voice to fill the space. Tom clicked the answer button. Hey Jenna. Oh my God, Sarah. Did you see? Jenna's voice bubbled through, then trailed off. What's going on? Sarah asked, leaning in, sensing another layer of drama unfolding. It's about that thread. Someone is saying some stuff. It's serious. The urgency in Jenna's tone sent chills down Sarah's spine. She locked eyes with Tom, the weight of this new twist crashing down. Everything was teetering on the brink. Could this really change the course of her life forever? The adventure was only just beginning, and the next chapter was calling them. Would she be ready for what lay ahead? Tom pressed the phone closer to his ear, eyebrows knitting together as he absorbed Jenna's hurried words. Sarah could practically feel the static electricity crackling between them. She leaned back against the cushions, heart racing, as they waited for Jenna to finish her sentence. They're saying your story isn't just a story anymore. It's real. Someone found out. Jenna paused, her breath hitching. And now they're posting about it everywhere. What do you mean? What story? Sarah felt dizzy, like the ground beneath her was shifting. About your struggles. It's all over social media. Jenna's voice rose in alarm. It's like someone took your writing and made it their own. They're saying you're brave for sharing it, but they're also twisting it. Tom shot a quick glance at Sarah, the color draining from his face. "Who's behind this?" he asked, his tone hardening. "I don't know. I just saw it, and can you send it to me?" Tom interrupted, urgency dripping from his words. "Yeah, I'll text it to you," Jenna said. "But Sarah, you need to be careful. This could go viral, and not in a good way." The weight of the world was settling back onto Sarah's shoulders. She had poured herself into her stories, each one a little fragment of her heart, wrapped in fictional fabric. And now someone else had taken that, twisted it. What if it's all a misunderstanding? Sarah whispered, terrified at the thought. Tom held her hand tighter. "We'll figure it out. We'll confront it together. You're not alone in this." Minutes felt like hours as they waited for Jenna's message. When it finally pinged into Tom's phone, the three of them stayed silent, the atmosphere thick with dread. Tom quickly scanned the screen, his face flashing with disbelief. Sarah could feel her chest tightening with each breath. "What does it say?" she urged, feeling the urgency permeate the air. "It's a blog post. Someone claims to have insight into your life, all drawn from your stories. They compared your pain to things they've seen on the internet, like those BuzzFeed articles." He frowned deeper. "It's sensationalized. They're calling you a survivor without even asking you. Who do they think they are?" Sarah's voice cracked, feeling the urge to fight back rise within her. "They're just trying to get clicks," Tom replied, his hand still enveloping hers. "But it doesn't matter. What matters is how you want to respond." Her heart thundered. She thought of all the secrets buried within her stories, the pain woven in. Would revealing the truth help? Or would it deepen the wounds? "What if I can't face it?" she admitted, a tremor running through her. "Sarah," Tom said softly, "the world already knows part of your story now. Don't let someone else define it. You get to choose what happens next." His words ignited a spark in her. Suddenly, everything seemed to shift. She took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, I'll face it." But before she could let her resolve settle in, a new text alert popped up. It was from the mysterious number again. "You need to see what they're saying. You have the power to set the record straight. It's time to finally speak your truth." A wave of determination crashed through her, battling the fear. Everything hung on a delicate thread: her truth, her voice. And the moment of truth was inching closer. What would she say? What would come next? The confrontation loomed, and Sarah felt the thrill of stepping into the unknown. Would she be brave enough to reveal the real story behind her words? Sarah glanced at the glowing screen in Tom's hand, its light illuminating her uncertainty. The words swirling in her head mixed with the noise of the world outside. This wasn't just about a blog post. It felt like an invasion of her soul, a shattering of the thin glass she had carefully crafted around her stories. Tom broke the silence, his voice firm yet gentle. "I can help you respond to this. You shouldn't have to do it alone. We'll write it together." "Write what?" Sarah's voice trembled. "You think it'll fix anything? What if it's too late? What if it just makes things worse?" "We don't know that yet." His eyes locked onto hers, a well of support in the chaos. "You need to take control of this narrative. Show them who you really are." Every fiber of her being wanted to hide. The mere thought of exposing her truth to strangers felt like standing naked in a crowded room. But then she recalled the moments when her words made others feel understood. Her stories had been her sanctuary, a shield against the storm. Now it was time to reclaim that power. What if I write something raw? Something that shows my truth exactly as it is? The idea fluttered in her chest like a caged bird desperate to break free. "Exactly." Tom nodded enthusiastically, a spark igniting in his eyes. "Pour everything into it: the pain, the healing, the journey. You own that story. No one can take it from you. Maybe it will help others too," she said softly, a tentative sense of purpose blooming inside her. "If they see the reality behind the headlines, maybe they'll understand." "Let us do it," Tom urged, his encouragement wrapping around her like a warm blanket. "Let us write a letter, a blog, or whatever you want. We can post it together on your social media." A breath caught in her throat. What if they don't believe me? What if they only see what they want to see? Then let them. The truth is the truth. You can't control how others interpret it, but you can control the way you express it. And that's what matters. The weight on her felt lighter as she contemplated this new path. The fear was still there, but it was joined by a budding courage. "'Kay, let us write it. No more hiding." Tom grinned, a mixture of pride and excitement washing over him. "And I'll be right next to you." With that shared resolve, she reached for her laptop. Each keystroke pulsed with her heartbeat, electrifying her fingers. She typed out her thoughts, unfiltered, raw and real. They flowed like a river freed from its dam, carrying with it all the anxiety, the hurt, the hope. As she wrote, moments from her life painted themselves vividly in her mind: the struggles, the nights spent crying, and the laughter that sometimes broke through the darkness. Being brave wasn't about never being afraid. It was about finding the strength to stand tall despite it. Suddenly, another text notification chimed from Tom's phone, making her pause. Jenna's name lit up the screen, and they both leaned in, curiosity etched on their faces. "What now?" Sarah asked, her heart fluttering with nerves. Tom opened the message, reading quickly. "She says there's a rumor about more posts being made, and your story is evolving. It's becoming a movement." Sarah felt her heart race, the excitement battling against the remnants of fear. What does that even mean? But before Tom could respond, another thought struck her with a mix of dread and intrigue. Is this something I want to be part of? She glanced at Tom, who was looking back at her with a gaze that felt infinitely supportive. The road ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: whatever came next, she was ready to face it head-on. Could she actually turn her pain into power? And as they both leaned closer to the screen, Sarah's heart tapped out a new rhythm. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, the blank screen reflecting the swirling emotions inside her. The words felt both liberating and terrifying. She wanted to reach deep into her experiences, to uncover every raw moment that shaped her. It was time to peel away the layers, to present a version of herself that had always been there but hidden in the shadows. "Okay, let us start with what you want to say to them," Tom encouraged. His voice cut through the whirlwind of anxiety swirling in her chest. He leaned back against the wall, arms crossed, exuding a calm that made her feel a little steadier. Sarah took a breath. "I think I want to explain how I felt when I first read that post: the confusion, the hurt, the anger." The words began to tumble out like a waterfall. "They think they know me, but they really don't have a clue what's been going on inside. This isn't just a story. This is my life." "Right. That's it. You need to make them feel something," Tom said, his enthusiasm kindling a spark in her heart. Sarah found her groove, tapping into pain intermixed with moments of joy. It wasn't easy. Each keystroke felt like a weight lifting, only to be replaced by a new, heavier one. Memories of sleepless nights, tears staining her pillow, the loneliness of feeling isolated, yet within that were the threads of hope, the friendship she cherished, the warmth of love from those who truly knew her. She couldn't lose sight of those glimmers. As she poured her soul onto the screen, every sentence reaffirmed her identity. The words flowed. They were no longer just letters but lifelines. "Remember, the more vulnerable you are, the stronger your message will be," Tom reminded her, his eyes bright with belief. "What if this backfires?" A small voice of doubt crept in. "If it backfires, then we deal with it together," he said without hesitation. "But think of the people you could reach, how they might see themselves in you." His words sank in, and for the first time, rather than focus on the possible negatives, she let herself dream of the positive impact her story could have. Minutes turned into an hour, each moment slipping away as Sarah lost herself in the writing. Suddenly, she felt the warmth of tears building in her eyes, but this time they were different. These were tears of strength. She wiped the corners of her eyes, determination flooding through her veins. She would share not only her pain but how she learned to cope with it, how she learned to rise again, to find beauty in the brokenness. Just then, another notification buzzed through the air. Tom glanced at his phone, and this time his face changed. "Sarah, it's Jenna again. She's saying your post has already sparked conversations. People want to hear more about your journey. They're calling it a movement." Sarah's heart raced once more, and for an instant panic mingled with exhilaration. "A movement? But I'm just one person." Tom's gaze was steady. "Exactly. Just one person who has the power to touch so many lives. This is bigger than us now." Excitement washed over her like a warm wave, but so did an overwhelming sense of responsibility. What if she couldn't live up to the expectations? "Will they really listen to me?" she whispered, her heart drumming against her ribcage. "Yes, because you speak the truth. and people crave authenticity. You have the chance to share a light. Sarah nodded, breathing in the confidence that surrounded her. The world outside hadn't changed, but within her, a shift was happening. She was no longer just a victim of circumstance, but a voice ready to resonate, a story bursting to be told. But in the middle of her newfound resolve, a tiny doubt lingered, echoing her anxiety. What if revealing her truth brought forth more challenges than she bargained for? Because now the world was waiting. Could she really step into her power and embrace what lay ahead? And there, poised over the keyboard, the thrill of her new story coiled tightly against the uncertainty of her future. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden rays across Maplewood, illuminating the faces of friends and family gathered at the community center. Today wasn't just another Saturday. It was the day Sarah would take the stage again. But this time it wasn't just about her journey, it was about all of them. Every soul present carried burdens they sought to share, to shed. The buzz of anticipation floated through the air, intertwining with the laughter that echoed off the walls. The tablecloths were adorned with cheerful patterns that brightened the room, but beneath that joy lingered the weight of stories ready to unfurl. Standing behind the stage curtain, Sarah felt her heart pound like a drum. She glanced over her shoulder at Tom, who stood beside her, eyes filled with unwavering support and pride. "You're ready for this," he whispered, a tender smile playing on his lips. In that moment, Sarah felt a wave of warmth wash over her, drowning out doubts. They were a team, and this was their moment. As Sarah stepped onto the stage, the crowd fell silent, all eyes fixated on her. The lights glared down, but instead of blinding her, they felt like a spotlight revealing her truth. She held the microphone with steady hands, and in that instant, she recalled all those nights spent wrestling with her fears, all the uncertainty that used to grip her. Today, every tear, every struggle brought her here. This was where she belonged. "Hello, everyone," she began, her voice soft yet strong. A ripple of familiarity swept through the room as laughter surfaced at her nervousness. "I want to talk about something real today. Something that connects us all," and with each word, she opened up her heart. She shared the brutal shadows of anxiety, the fears that crept in like unwelcome guests, and how, through writing, she found a flicker of light. She spoke about the fragility of hopes and dreams intertwined with the human experience. As she poured out her soul, the crowd leaned in, captivated by the rawness of her journey. She spoke of her love for Tom, the beauty of their struggles, and the commitment to face life together. "We don't have to carry these burdens alone," Sarah proclaimed, letting the truth swell within her. "We can support one another. Sometimes, sharing our stories can lift the weight we thought was ours to bear." A low hum echoed in the room, a collective understanding washing over them. She watched as tears glistened in their eyes, reflections of their own stories intertwining with hers. As she wrapped up, Sarah felt a strength seep through the barriers that had kept her silent for so long. "Let us rise together," she urged, passion in her tone. Let our voices be heard. We're a community. Our stories matter." The crowd roared in approval, clapping and cheering, the warmth igniting a newfound sense of unity among them. But Sarah's speech went beyond that. With each heartbeat that resonated, she felt the transformation within herself. She had stepped into her power, emerging from the shadows, no longer afraid of the judgment that used to hold her back. She now embraced her truth as a source of strength. As she stepped back from the stage, the applause rang in her ears, echoing the journey they had taken together. The air buzzed with an electrifying energy as friends rushed forward, enveloping her in a sea of love. Tom pulled her close, and she could see the pride reflecting in his eyes. "You did it, Sarah," he whispered, his voice full of emotion. The crowd murmured excitedly, snippets of conversations wafting through the air. "Did you hear her? Incredible. I want to share my story too." It was a revelation, a ripple effect of courage, and it hit her like a wave. In that moment, Sarah realized their journey was far from over. This was just the beginning. The weight they carried could be shared, the shadows dispelled by the light of their combined voices. She felt a swell of gratitude. She had stepped into courage, and now they could do this together. Tom held her hand tighter, grounding her in this whirlwind of emotions. "What's next for us?" he asked, excitement dancing in his eyes. "We keep sharing," Sarah said, a radiant smile breaking through. "We write, we talk, we help others like us. This is our life, and were living it fully. As they walked back towards the crowd, the laughter and joy enveloped them. The challenges ahead wouldn't disappear. But now they faced them united. They both understood. Embracing truth was where their strength lay, and together, they could create the life they desired, filled with connection, vulnerability, and love. That evening, as the stars blinked brightly in the sky, a fresh chapter unfolded. An echo of hope resonated through Maplewood. And just like that, Sarah took a step forward, a true survivor, not just for herself but for all those woven into her story. As the fading light surrounded them, Sarah turned to the audience one last time, feeling the thrill of possibility. Let us change the world one story at a time. And the night surged with a promise of transformation. A collective heartbeat reassured that no longer would they walk alone. Now is your moment. Do not wait. You need to subscribe now to catch the next inspiring stories. Leave a like right now to fuel the algorithm and spread this wave of transformation. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this. Ending your voice matters. And share instantly with at least 5 friends who need this encouragement in their lives. Don't wait, not even one more second. Your support can light the way for so many.